Wow, a sharpened volcano fragment. Awesome.
Everyone else got it. You're just a button!
Hello everyone, Juju TV here and welcome to my Team Fortress 2 informational guide on unusual trading. Please keep in mind if you're somewhat experienced in trading, this video might cover some facts you already know. So just sit tight and be patient if that's the case. If you're new to TF2, you might be wondering to yourself, what exactly is an unusual? The definition of unusual is remarkable or interesting because different from or better than others. Okay, that's great, but what's a TF2 unusual? Well, TF2 has many different qualities and versions of certain items, some of which you might have seen before: stranges, vintages, genuines, collectors, etc. So an unusual is no different, other than the fact that they are extremely uncommon. With an uncrate chance of 1 out of 150 or 0.66%, it's safe to say these things are hard to get a hold of. You can't get unusuals on timed drops, promotional codes, or any other way other than unboxing them from a crate. Or of course, trading for them. So let's discuss how to unusual trade. What should you buy? What should you look out for? How do I deal with scammers? There are tons of topics to cover when it comes to properly trading unusuals, so I apologize in advance if you don't like short summarizations. So let's start at the beginning. Whether you have some pure keys or metal, or some random unusuals you managed to trade up to or unbox, it might be a good idea to get a general price of the hat you're either trying to buy or sell. Websites such as backpack.tf are great for pricing lower tier items and low tier unusuals, but it's not a very reliable source to price your unusual on. The reason for this is because backpack.tf doesn't update unusual prices regularly, so the price listed might be outdated. Instead, go to websites such as tf2outpost.com to see what other people are selling the same hat for. This will ensure you get an updated price of what others are selling, and you'll be good to go with your knowledge as to what the unusual hat actually sells for. What if the hat I'm looking for isn't on TF2 Outpost, or it's the only one in existence? How would I price my hat? Pricing these types of hats can prove to be difficult for unexperienced TF2 players, so I'll try to educate you to the best of my abilities. The best thing to do in this situation is check backpack.tf's unusual pricing section. There you can find a majority of TF2 unusuals that are in the game. If you actively click within certain hats, you'll start to notice a common trend of what effects are close to each other in price. You'll start to get an idea of what unusual effects are more expensive and which ones aren't as expensive. Getting an idea for what effects sell for more, which effects are easy to sell, and which effects to stay away from are pretty crucial factor in unusual trading. Okay, so you might be a bit confused as to what I mean by this. Aren't some hats with low tier effects still extremely expensive? The answer to that question is yes and no. I'll elaborate more into detail to ensure you're understanding what I mean. Here's an unusual killer exclusive with Circling Heart effect. As you can see, it could easily sell for 60 buds or more. Now if we look at a Circling Heart Sober Stuntsman, it could only sell for around 3 or 4 buds. Why is this the case? Why is one hat with the same effect so much more than one with the same effect? It comes down to how many of the same unusual are in the game, supply and demand for that particular hat, and the popularity of the hat. The killer exclusive is an all-class hat that looks extremely good in every class, so when you put an all-class hat and a first-gen effect together, it would make sense why it sells for a lot more than the Sober Stuntsman, being that the Sober Stuntsman is a demo-only hat and there's multiple of the same hat. So let's get back in topic about selling unpriced hats or one-of-one unusuals. Technically, if you have a hat that is unpriced and no one else has one anywhere else on the market, you can sell it for whatever price you want. But you need to be realistic when you set a price. I'll use my one-of-one unusual as an example. It's a Hellfire Frickin' Sweet Ninja Hood. Now the first thing I would note for this hat is it's a first-gen Halloween effect. These are usually high-tier effects due to the fact that they can only be unboxed around Halloween. Secondly, the Frickin' Sweet Ninja Hood is a very liked scout hat and it looks very nice, meaning the hat is also pretty high tier. Lastly, I checked to see effects that are pretty similar on the same hat's price. Sunbeams was the one I determined was pretty similar. A Sunbeam's freaking sweet ninja hood at the time was selling for 40 buds. So I made a conclusion that it would probably be fair to price my hat at around 25 to 30 buds. Again, you can always set whatever price you want when it comes to these types of unusuals, but keep in mind if you ever want to get an actual trade or deal, you need to do some research and make a logical price. Now let's talk about unusual effect generations. Generation 1 effects are green confetti, purple confetti, haunted ghosts, green energy, purple energy, circling TF logo, masked flies, burning flames, scorching flames, searing plasma, vivid plasma, sunbeams, circling peace sign, and circling heart. Generation 2 effects are Stormy Storm, Blizzardy Storm, Nuts and Bolts, Orbiting Planets, Orbiting Fire, Bubbling, Smoking, and Steaming. Generation 3 effects are Aces High, Cloud 9, Dead Presidents, Disco Beatdown, Kilowatt, Miami Nights, and Terawatt. Any other effects such as Robo Hats or Halloween effects are classified as their own effect sets. It's important to understand what generation your unusual effect is because a lot of TF2 unusual traders will expect you to know what gen your hat is if they're unsure. It's also important because of supply and demand of certain effects. Since Generation 1 effects are so old, and most of the time, and almost all of them look really good, you won't have much trouble with them. They're pretty easy to sell and someone is always looking for a nice first gen offer. Other generations of unusual effects that aren't first generation might run you into some complications. Not saying that it will, but a lot of unusual traders prefer first generation effects over any other generations. There's always a potential profit to be made with whatever generation unusual you might have, so don't let anyone degrade the value of your hat unless it's for justified reasons. Let's get into common unusual trading terms, and why it might be justified that they're saying your unusual isn't worth full price. Some common unusual terms you'll run into are clean or duped. The term duped means your unusual you own was duplicated in some way, shape, or form. And no, it isn't the type of duplication you're thinking of, but rather a Steam-granted event. The way an unusual is duped is when an unusual is scammed and the user reports it directly to Steam. Steam decides it was a reasonable report and grants you your scammed items back. Now, they can't just directly take the same item away from the person you traded it to, but they can, however, generate an exact replica of the same hat. Since every item has a unique ID, it causes Backpack.tf to register the two hats as duped because both items are 100% identical. A duped hat will cause some unusual traders to devalue your hat, so try to stay away from them at all costs. The term clean obviously means your hat isn't duped, which is good. That's what you want. You can check to see if an unusual is duped by checking the individual's backpack on Backpack.tf. Go to the unusual and click History. Once there, it will show a history of how many people have owned the hat. If the hat is duped, it will alert you with a big red and bold message saying, "This item appears to be duplicated." So now that you're educated on pricing hats, valuing certain effects, and staying away from duped hats, let's get into avoiding scammers. Ah yes, scammers, everyone's favorite little buggers. Scammers are getting more intelligent with their scamming techniques, and it's only going to get worse with time. So what can you do about staying away from them? I would hope you know about the common scamming methods already, such as phishing links, scammer bots, and sharkers that will try to make up a legitimate reason as to why your unusual is one scrap metal, so I won't elaborate much on that subject. What I do want to address, however, is avoiding scammers that are marked on any TF2 websites such as TF2 Outpost, Backpack.tf, or SteamRep, because if you happen to trade with one of these scammers that are marked, you will be marked as well for trading with this scammer. This is what happened to me, unfortunately, when I traded for the Hellfire frickin' Sweet Ninja Hood. I wasn't being very cautious with the trade and I ended up regretting it. So keep in mind, even experienced traders as myself can be bamboozled by marked scammers. So always double check their status on all of these websites to ensure you are safe. Now that we've talked about all of the important aspects of unusual trading, it's time to actually start trading. But something isn't right. I'm advertising my unusual on TF2 Outpost, yet I'm not getting many offers. Am I doing something wrong? No, you are not doing anything wrong. Patience is the #1 key to success when you trade for unusuals. To speed things up, however, go into unusual trading servers and advertise your unusuals there. You can do this simply by going to the servers section, clicking the Internet tab, and typing unusual into the tags field. Hopping into unusual servers where other people are trading them just like you is a fantastic idea to potentially find a good deal and speed things up. Do not be afraid to offer on other people's hats. If anything, they're really eager to get some offers just like you are. The worst thing that can happen is they deny your offer, so no biggie. I get how to unusual trade now, but how do I make profit? Making profit with unusuals is fairly easy and simple. It's just a matter of being patient and waiting for a good deal. When you offer on a hat, try offering lower than it's actually worth. If they accept the deal, you can turn around and sell it for full price. When you are selling a hat, ask for pure buds or keys, or unusual overpay. This way you are getting pure buds or keys for your hat, which is always great because people love pure. Or you're getting unusual overpay, which is my personal favorite. Well, I think that covers just about everything you need to know when it comes to properly trading unusuals in Team Fortress 2. If you have a question that wasn't answered in this video, feel free to leave a comment below and I'll reply to you as soon as possible. Feel free to add me on Steam. You can find my community profile link in the description below. If you enjoyed the video and would like to see more of these types of videos, leave a like and let me know what you thought in the comments section. Don't forget to share this video with some mates to spread the word about proper unusual trading. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.